Welcome back to another episode of Retail War Games. Today, we sit down with three founders of Ivy City Co., Madeline, Natasha, and Whitney.
So you know a little bit about microphones.
A little.
Tell me about the singing stuff that you do.
The main thing you need to know about a microphone is to keep it by your mouth, which seems like it would be common sense, but people forget when the lights come on.
I'm like a storyteller. Like I always am moving my hands and I tell stories, and so I could see myself being the one that's like
right,
moving
you're
the
just like
mic
actually
all over.
What is Jada Smith and Will Smith's daughter's name? Willow. She has a really cool song, but there's this whole Instagram reel of her singing, and she like keeps like taking it away from herself.
No, really?
And we're like, oh, how is she singing still?
Uh-oh.
Oh, how did she do that?
It's a different kind of skill.
It's still a great song.
But really tell us about it.
About singing?
Yes.
Oh, it's good.
Anytime you want to take this.
Lots of things
So
going
this
on.
is another talent that you have?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I
Just
also
keep-
sing.
There's just more that's just being peeled back.
You did some American Idol stuff.
Yeah, I did American Idol a couple years ago,
No way.
and I do like my solo stuff as Bree Ray, which
And
is
she
like pop
is
R&B.
Extremely good. So let me just tell you, okay? So we had a gala last year at Thanksgiving Point, and I was dumb enough to ask Bree to not sing, but just MC it. And we had the national parks up there, and they're incredible.
Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But then the next day, I went and listened to Bree Ray sing. I was like, "Are you kidding me? What a joke! I can't believe you weren't singing." Oh my!
I'm good at speaking
gosh.
too. No, it was
I'd
fun.
like-
And the gala was beautiful. National parks
Whoa, they were
brought the
incredible, by
energy.
way.
They're
Holy
incredible.
cow.
Yeah, they're absolutely incredible. But yeah, so that's me. I just do a little bit of singing. And then like 2 years ago, I started a new group. Have we talked about this?
No.
I started a new group called The King Will Come. And you might have to cut this out because it's a little religious. But
No, that's all right. We're
okay, if you're
religious.
cool with it, I'm cool with it. But it basically is a group dedicated to just creating safe space to be with God, regardless of religion or where you're at in your faith journey,
That's
or
really
if you
cool.
absolutely don't believe at all.
I love that.
And it's been going great. We were on the Billboard charts last year.
No way.
And on a Grammy-nominated album.
No way.
What on
Congrats.
Yeah,
earth,
it's
Bree
been
Ray?
going great.
That's
Shit.
amazing. So how did you like
Thank
sync
you.
up with the group?
It actually started with 3 of my friends, and we just got together at one of their houses with a bunch of our other music friends.
So you're
and
just all really talented musicians.
Yeah,
Oh
and we
my
just
gosh.
started playing songs that we'd all written, and we had similar experiences on this faith journey. And we're like, we need room for this. And so we started a little concert called Warehouse Worship, and 200 people showed up, and then 400, and then our last one had like 777, I think.
That is not
at
surprising.
Lehigh,
That's
so.
incredible.
Let's
Yeah,
grab
it's
this
such
mic
a
when you
need.
are-
Pretty
want
crazy, intimidating doing the American Idol thing.
Yes and no. Yes and no. It's like one of those things that it just depends on the mindset that you have going into it, which I feel like applies to everything in life, you know? And so it was interesting for me because I didn't feel like American Idol was my end all be all. Like I didn't feel like if I don't win American Idol, I'm never going to sing again. I'm not going to have a chance at a career, you know what I mean? And there's just very different energies with some of the contestants who were there this was their final shot, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And so I think going into it with that energy makes it a lot more intimidating versus going into it as like, this is a great opportunity and I'm excited and honored to be here. But I know this
not your
doesn't
end all
hold
be-
my value. Yeah,
Yeah.
this
Yeah, that's
doesn't
right.
this doesn't define what I can do
It's
in
not
my
over
life.
here, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yes and no, but
So, and how come you have such cool hair? It
for
is
kicks
like-
and gigs.
It's a little way too cool.
Just for kicks and gigs.
Yeah, holy cow. I'm a fan. Well, we've got some rock stars with us right now.
Truly.
Obviously, so here's a little backdrop, okay? There's some brands that are really female focused that I'm not really familiar with, but my staff sure as heck are. So when Anna on our team, she reached out and she goes, "I've got Ivy City Co. coming on," and she goes, "They're a really big deal." Like, thanks,
so
Anna.
really nice.
And then I told my wife that you guys were coming on, and she's like, she's like, "Oh my gosh, you know that we had those dresses, right?" I'm like, "Why would I know that?" Like, I don't know.
Their
But
reactions-
I guess she said, in fact, last Easter, my wife and the daughters were wearing that at church. And I'm like, "Well, that's cute. I had no idea."
As they should. And their reactions were so appropriate because you guys are a big deal. Amen.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah, didn't you do, and there's some, I think I saw one of you guys LinkedIn about Ernst & Young Aren't you guys like a finalist there or something right now?
We are. We're going to Colorado on Friday, 2 days, for
What?
the finalists for the Western area. So
How do they find you? I mean, what? They're just like, how does this happen? How does Ernst find how do they find people on Ernst & Young?
I think you have to get nominated. And my
Wow.
husband is kind of our biggest fan, and he sees the value in us always. And
Smart guy.
yes, he's a very smart guy. He's always supporting us and helping us. But he started nominating us and was like, "Oh my gosh, this is actually like a big deal." And I don't know if you care.
Oh, it's a very big deal.
Well, like the nominating process was like a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so he asked me, and I'm like, I don't need to be nominated for anything. Like, are you serious? Like, stop doing it. And someone on the committee was like, oh my gosh, they need to finish this right now. So they reached out to us. They found Madeline. And
I got a
Madeline-
LinkedIn message like,
Yeah.
hey, your nomination is not complete, but you are a really great candidate. Like, you guys should finish
Oh,
this.
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, Bridget, Tosh, like,
across
we
the finish
gotta
line.
we
Come
gotta do
on.
this.
So then he nominated us, and we were just like, okay, we'll see what happens. And we've become a finalist, and we're just so honored. I mean, just there's so many cool people
Yeah.
in this nominee, so we're just honored to be at the table with them
Yeah,
and
they're big
excited.
hitters.
Yeah.
That is
Honestly,
so
don't feel
cool.
worthy. We're just like, wow. So
So, real quickly, tell me about this. Is this like a long time friendship between the three of you, or how does it? What's the origin story here?
if
Go
we
ahead.
had $1 for every time.
Tosh, you start us off.
Okay, so me and Whitney the two blondes, we've been friends since middle school. We did dance together, we did drill team together, we went to Alta High School together. We then moved to college and lived together in college, and then we kind of went our own separate ways a little bit. My background is I went to hair school and was doing hair, got married at 21, had a baby at 22, just started doing hair and being mom. I always thought that like being a mom was just like my end goal, right? Which
Yeah.
is amazing and so fulfilling. But something was calling to me. I would just like lay in bed at night and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I just love fashion and I want to start my own thing. And I'm just like so intrigued by this whole e-commerce business and having like to be able to like do something, like sell a product, obviously in fashion. And, you know, I kind of was like, doing hair and doing it kind of like when my kids are sleeping. And I'm like, I would just love to be like making money when I'm not physically working all the time.
yeah.
And the e-commerce thing was kind of like intriguing to me. Didn't know one thing how to start a business. Nothing. I actually started one doing fashion with a friend and it failed within like 2 months. And my husband's like, I believe in you. Like, let's invest in your dream. Like, let's do it. At the time, we're just like had 3 little kids. I had a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. I don't know what the heck I was thinking. Like, why would I want to start a business? I have no idea. I just had this dream and this passion, and he's like, you need a partner that's good at things that you're not good at in like the nicest way possible. And I instantly was like, oh my gosh, my best friend Whitney is so good at things that I'm not good at, but yet we still like love fashion.
Yeah.
We're the type of friends that I say this all the time, but like even in high school, we'd like share clothes and we'd always buy the same thing. Even now, like we joke that we'll go to Target and somehow buy the same thing. It's like we just like are vibing
Out of,
that
every,
way.
out of everything there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll let Whitney tell a little bit about her background. Take it away.
So yeah, well, she told you we've been friends forever, and then we moved to college together, and I'm like so excited to go to college with my friend and move in with all my friends, and then she met her husband in like the first week.
She's like, I'm gone.
What is this?
I'm out.
Plot twist.
What is happening? So we
Hey, about that
we
thing.
did live together for the whole first year, and then we did a study abroad together, and then she decided to get married, so she did give me a whole year, before.
She had to share with Bridget. It's fine.
But yeah, so she did that, and then I went and kind of did like the career thing. I went to school. I got a master's in accounting, and
Whoa.
I went to work for a public accounting firm, got my CPA license, and then I'm like, okay, now I can get married. Now I've just always been kind of like, they know this about me. I'm a planner. I'm
Yep.
very like, this is how I plan everything. I even planned. You can't always plan to have your babies, right? We know that. But with my first, I'm like, okay, I have to have it in a non-tax busy season, because what am I going to do if I have a baby
Well
from
thought out.
January to April,
Managerial accounting.
Yeah. So luckily he came in November, so it ended up being fine. But yeah, so I kind of did that, and then I got married at 26 and had my son, and then we kind of reconnected, and it was perfect. And we've always shared the love for fashion, and honestly, we knew we wanted to do dresses together because we were specifically looking for a dress, I remember, for Tosh for like one of her trips with like her husband. And she's got young kids, but she also wants to feel beautiful, but she's also chasing kids around. She's like, I can't find a dress that works. That's kind of how we started the dress thing, and it worked for us. And then
Usually not a lot of overlap between accountants and fashion apparel.
no, and
I was
honestly,
going to mention
Founders.
Whitney's like a hidden gem because she's got the finance side, but yet she loves fashion. She's
Yeah.
also very social. And
I'm an
it just worked.
extroverted accountant, which is very uncommon. Like I
Yep.
even noticed, and people would notice in my office too when I worked in public accounting. They're like, she just is. I was a little bit more. I was a little different than everyone else. Like very social, very an extrovert.
Oh, yeah.
But I loved it because I would go and. Like I had to go out to businesses that I would work on their accounts for, and I got to meet them, and so it
That's
fit my
remarkable.
personality
I
well.
remember in my accounting classes, I just want to skip off the roof. It was so
I
boring.
think
I
I
love
was the
numbers.
same.
It's
So yeah,
weird.
you're
It was
also
so
good at
hard.
things that I am not good at.
Yeah.
So this is
That's
great.
That is a great
In the best
talent.
way, we always balance each other out because I obviously had talents that Whitney wasn't strong in.
Oh,
and so,
yeah.
And you can't be an expert at everything, right?
That's very
Like,
wise. Yep.
that doesn't
Yeah.
make a
Offset.
business.
So we worked really well. Like I'm not an Instagram person. I'm not. So I'm an extrovert in as far as like relationships and friendships in person. But when it came to like Instagram and all that, I still don't really know exactly what
Yep.
I'm doing. I'm private. Like I'm a little bit more introverted that way. And Tosh was really great at like getting our name out there and
Really
talking
cool.
to people and all that. And then Madeline came along because
What year are we in?
so we started in 2015.
Oh, wow.
do you want the long
2015.
version or the short version?
Yeah, 2015. Okay.
2015 is when we
Madeline comes
started.
in.
And then, 2015 is when we started the business.
Okay.
And then it was 2018 when Madeline came on.
Hmm.
So we played in a Bunko group together. Do you guys know what Bunko is?
No way. Okay, that's so fun.
It's like a group of 12 moms that get together once a month, and you rotate hosting every month because there's
Oh,
12
cool.
moms, 12
That's
months in the
awesome.
year, and you have everyone over and you feed them and you play a dice game. And it's
Oh,
just a
that's really cool.
social, fun thing.
That's a throwback.
It's just
Yeah.
an excuse to
And-
get together each month and see
That's
your
really
friends.
cool.
We've been playing
Yeah.
since we've had our kids. Like we've been playing for a long time. And I had a good friend, and Madeline had just left. We were friends, but she was cousins with one of the girls that was in our group with us, and I didn't want to cross that like friend line. She had just left her job, and I'm like, is it okay if I reached out to her, about consulting? And I'm like, all right, we're just going to take her to lunch. And we took her to lunch, and I'll let her tell you her experience at lunch. But needless to say, we left lunch, and she was a third owner. We just connected just
Man,
like
you're a
that.
salesman.
She
That's
really
pretty
did.
good, Madeline. Wow, that's a good lunch.
I mean,
Honestly-
it makes sense. Once you get to know her, that makes total sense.
Yeah, I mean, she literally just fits. We call ourselves like the perfect puzzle piece.
Perfect.
Like we all
She
just
was our
like,
missing
fit
puzzle
together.
piece.
We just were really missing her, and we didn't realize how badly we were missing her until we met her and we went to lunch, and we were like, she is what we need. So
So going
cool.
back a little bit, we started designing dresses, trying to figure out the manufacturing side, which we had zero expertise in this. No funds. Like honestly, this started as me and Whitney's moms just like wanting to have a creative outlet.
Yeah.
And we just kind of started doing building blocks that way. We started designing dresses, putting it out there. We decided this is really hard to sell a large quantity. And also, I self-taught myself every measurement on a dress, how to tell them every little thing to
No
do.
way, yeah.
Which, looking back, is crazy, but like you just do what you have to do to like hustle and build your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
We realized then that like we weren't gonna get massive people like investing our money into growing this business. We were gonna be like
Slow
selling
and
it and
steady.
keep putting it back into the business.
Yeah.
So then we decided to go into wholesale.
I was just going to add, we didn't pay ourselves for like a really long time, and when Mads came on as an part owner, we're like, well, here's the problem. Sorry, not to interrupt you, but I'm
Yeah.
like, one little thing. We can kind of pay you as a contractor, but as an owner, we're not really taking any money from the business because we just put everything back into
Yeah.
it the whole time. And
Listen
she
though,
was like,
we
okay,
thought
I
we
have
were
to do
making
other
money at the
jobs.
time. We just couldn't afford Madeline. We were finally actually paying ourselves. But yeah, for the longest time, we were just we started, we
Oh,
were
yeah.
dabbling in the market of like finding manufacturers and figuring it out. But at the same time, we're like, okay, let's do wholesale. We can buy small quantities. It's already done. We don't have to like do every little measurement for them. And that's really kind of how we grew our little nugget a little bit. We started, growing our Instagram, really growing and getting out there.
If you can't move without pain, you can't do the things that you love. That's why KT exists, to help relieve the minor aches and pains of living an active life. KT Tape is the #1 trusted choice of physicians, therapists, athletic trainers, everyday active people, and thousands of professional athletes. Since 2008, KT Tape has been used by the athletes of Team USA. So whether you're running on a treadmill or at home or training for the Olympics, KT Tape is here to help you reach your potential.
And then we decided that like every other person in Utah started their own boutique, and it wasn't a secret. Everyone was doing it, and we're like not passionate about it, and everyone was selling the exact same thing. And we're like, oh, that could have been from Ivy City, but they could have got it from someone else. Or people are being like on Instagram saying, oh, this shirt's at Ivy City, but cheaper here. Like it was just so cutthroat and not rewarding.
Yeah.
We didn't have control over any of the quality. We didn't have control over the design. We didn't have control over the sizing. It was just small, medium, large.
Yeah.
That was it. And, that's not who we wanted to be. That's not who we were. So all of a sudden, cold turkey, me and Whitney, after 2 years, we're like, okay, we've been figuring out the manufacturing end. We're feeling more confident. Whitney was doing the analytics of, okay, this is what people are actually buying. They don't even care about the wholesale stuff. It's too saturated. And it's not a good markup. It just isn't. It's not the best business model.
Just wanted to
right?
go straight to consumers.
Yes. So that's when we just threw in the towel at 2017, 18-ish. This is about the same time. This is why it's like pivotal. So we decided to just start making all of our own stuff. And this time we had saved enough money to just keep doing that on our own. And at the same time, I was like, Whitney, I would die to see my daughter wearing the same dress that I want to wear, like just shrunken down.
That's so cool.
Like how cute is that?
The cutest.
And I was so hesitant, you guys, because I'm like the analytical mind, and I'm thinking, okay, well, there's nothing out there that's like it, which can also be a scary thing.
It's a big risk.
But then also, you're manufacturing something that people expect it to be half the price, right? Because it's half the size, but that's not how it works in manufacturing, right? Because it's the same quality. They're still using materials. They still have MOQ, so it's
Labor.
and so I was just thinking logistically, cost of sales of this is going to be.
I'm like, listen, it's gonna work. It's fine.
we
Let's
gonna
just
do
try it
this?
out.
Yeah.
This is how we work together, right? She reels me in sometimes, and I'm like, no, we're gonna try it.
She balances me.
that was a
She
game changer,
balances
though, for you
me
guys,
from
wasn't it?
So
being
this was
too
a
much
pivotal moment
too
for us
analytical.
because this is when Ivy City really started blowing up, per se. We felt like we knew who we were, we knew our vision, and we knew where we were going. We were really excited. Our followers were really excited about it. I remember this first picture that me and my daughter posted in our green Arabella, like, let's just test it out and see what people think. And it just went crazy. We knew people loved it. And it was just kind of like Insta candy. We just were so excited. So we just started going all in. We started making all these little miniature dresses, and we're designing dresses like, but we have to make a mini, right? Like, we still to this day are like, we can't make every mini. We can't do it. But we're like, no, but I need it. Like, my daughter needs
Collect all
it.
3. Yeah.
But at this time, me and Whitney were like, okay, we are doing the best we can. We're manufacturing our own. We found our own manufacturers. I'm shipping everything. She's doing all the back end work. I'm taking it to the
I'm like trying to
post
figure out
office.
marketing, but the thing about having a business degree is you take one marketing or an accounting degree, you take one marketing course. So I'm trying to teach myself the marketing side of the business, whereas I taught myself how to use a camera, to do the photography.
There you go.
Like no,
She's
seriously.
like, you're the face. You do it. I'll take the pictures.
There's so many things, like when you are trying to do it all because you don't have the money and you can't pay anybody from the beginning and you're not bringing on big investors, we just had to figure it out on our own. So I'm like, sure, I can figure out how to use a camera and take pictures. I can do this. Marketing for me though, it was really hard for me to do that and the finance side. And that's where we were like, okay, we have something awesome. This is blowing up. We need a megaphone to get this out there.
We kept getting turned down though. It was really hard. Like we got so many doors closed in our face. So many people we'd talk to, and they're like, "Oh, you're not big enough for us. I'm going to so and so because they can offer insurance and whatnot." So we've definitely had all those roadblocks along the way, and I just think we never took no for an answer. Just something inside us was like, "Keep going, keep going." There was even a time Even though my husband is our biggest supporter, he would hate me for saying this. There was a time where he was like, maybe you just need to throw in the towel. Like, maybe you just need to not do this anymore. And I was like, no. Like, I just know this is going to be something someday.
Tosh moved like 4 or 5 times during all this happening and was still doing the shipping at that time before it went into my sister's. We've moved so many times, but she had moved like 4 or 5 times. And I think that's when Bridger was like, okay.
He's like, this is the last time I'm moving
Yes.
these
You gotta haul
boxes,
this again.
babe.
And the
Yeah.
minis. Oh boy.
So this is what happened. We sold our house. We're like, okay, we're gonna move, and I moved into my sister's house just for the summer, being like, they're doing summer sales. We're just gonna find a house and move into it. It always takes longer than you think. Yeah. So then I'm like, okay, mom and dad, can I live with you? Meanwhile, I'm bringing Ivy City with me in like spare bedrooms, all the boxes, shipping at night. My dad's like, are you? Honey, I think you're working too hard. I have 3 little kids. Like, what the heck was I modeling it, buying it? Like, oh my gosh. I look back and I'm like, wow, what possessed me? I have no idea.
That is
It
awesome.
was just that feeling, right? Like, I just had this inner guidance of like, this is going to be something
you.
someday.
Yeah, you could see the vision. And I think
Yeah.
like what's really important too, because I run into this with my husband where he's like sometimes like, babe,
Yeah.
you want to slow it down, you want to rein it in. But I'm like, that is still such an expression of love because I
Yeah.
think they get to see this side of you that is stressed and
Yeah.
that is like kind of falling apart. And you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it does like your belief in your project or your business is so passionate and you see the full vision
Yeah.
and they just see you.
Yeah.
And so like it just is a different type of support, but I know that conversation.
Well, and even sometimes you don't see the vision fully. Like, I'm like, you know, I don't actually know where this is going, but I know that it's going somewhere. We're not giving up. But leading up to Madeline, we kept meeting. We're like, we need someone who can help us market. We have no idea what we're doing. So we're meeting all sorts of people. That's when Whitney's like, Madeline left her job. And
All right.
we know
Now's the
she's
time.
we know she's incredible. I'm like, get the meeting now. I don't care.
Lock the doors.
So, I mean, they're both incredible. I'm going to turn this over to, this is where I turn it over to Madeline.
Well, do y'all have any questions too along the way?
No, so far. So you came on in 2017?
18.
2018.
So it's been going for a few years. You've already dipped into the mommy and me. Now you're like, okay, we need a marketer. We brought on Madeline, and now you take it away.
Okay. Well, I'm a Texan originally. I've been here 10 years now, so
Oh, cool.
I'm never sure if I'm a Utah or a Texan.
Yep.
I'm somewhere in the middle.
Yep.
I still say howdy. I still say y'all. But
Don't let it go.
What part of Texas?
College Station.
Oh,
So
Texas
Texas
A&M.
A&M, yes.
Oh,
yes,
I love
yes.
Texas. I'm trying to convince my son to go to Texas A&M. I like the Aggies.
Here's the thing. It's a great place to grow up if you love football.
We do.
You know, yes. Okay, great. Okay, great.
Oh, there's more to it? All right.
It's not a great place to grow up if you're an artist like me at the
Oh,
time.
you got to go to Austin.
I should have, but I went to Dallas. I went
Oh.
to Dallas. So I went to art school. That's my background.
Art school. Oh, cool.
Mhm. So I'm not an accountant.
Okay, but you say you should have, but then maybe you wouldn't have been here. So.
That's true.
Boom.
The invisible string brought me here. It's meant to be. So I grew up in Texas. After high school, I moved myself to Dallas and I got an art degree. Photography was like my main focus at the time. And
Wow.
during these years too, I was also like really into the blogging thing when it first took off. Like pre-Instagram,
Oh, yeah.
all the things. I was running a blog with my best friend. It was called Sugar and Spice. I was Sugar. If you saw her, it'd make sense. Like, so I've always loved like having business partners and working with women. But it was fun because I feel like those were like the early days of my mind and my like heart really figuring out what I loved and what I was good at.
Yeah.
I was getting experience with marketing. You know, I was meeting different brands, seeing their internal operations, helping them like bring their brand to life through content or whatever it was. And so that's like a little bit of my background. I moved to Utah on a whim. Like I found out I had a free place to stay one day and was here in like 48 hours.
You're like, that must have been a really good place to stay. Like, I'm in.
It was a ride. I mean, to be totally honest, because mental health is such a big part of my journey, I was not well with my mental health. I was in a really dark place.
Yeah.
And I'm such an intuition girl, and I just felt this pull that I was supposed to leave Texas. There was something waiting for me. There were people waiting for me, but I had to make a drastic change.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I move overnight. I get this random phone call catching up with someone living in Salt Lake, never been here. He's like, hey, my family has an empty room for the summer. Like, let's write music. Like, let's hike. Just find yourself. And then you can move to LA and, like, do something out there. And I'm like, cool, I'll be there tomorrow. Sweet. So So I did. Yeah, I had my little car and I threw my rollerblades, my bike, and like a suitcase and my guitar. And I'm like, here we go. And I'm so glad I did. You're right. It was the right move. All of it fell into place. But I find myself here. And that summer, I was just trying to grind, just trying to make any money I could to start paying my student loans. You know, I was working at a dress shop on 9th and 9th, which is so cool now looking back at it. On the side, I was nannying, and I was also doing data analytics for mines, like coal mines.
Wow.
Every time she tells the stories, she really is like, you think of an onion literally peeling back the layers. I feel like we
Truly.
have known her now for how long, and we still are like, what? You did
mean-
that? What? I'm like,
I mean, who hasn't worked in the coal mine industry at some point or another in their
oh
life?
my gosh.
Every time I bring it
Yeah.
up, my husband just laughs so hard because it is so not me. But okay, when you have to make money, you just gotta do what you gotta do.
Gotta
You
go to
know,
the
and
coal
I'm like,
mines, yeah.
I gotta do what I gotta do. Hey, you know what? I learned Excel.
I bet you made it glamorous.
It was
Okay.
great. I sure tried. Anyway, at the end of the summer, I had fallen in love with Utah. I loved the mountains. I had made some friends. I met my husband at the time. And I'm like, I'm going to stay here. I've never seen really a snowy winter. Let's see what it's about. Didn't scare me away. And I just decided I needed to start a career here. And I really wanted to do marketing. And I wanted to be creative. So I got my first job at a Utah startup, Skull Candy, which was so cool. It was so great. They were public at the time, and I got an internship there. I was like maybe
You worked
22.
with Brian, Jeremy Andrus, who are you working
I was with Hobie Darling.
Okay, I don't know them.
He's great.
Oh, really cool.
Yeah, he's great. So I was there when he was CEO.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I got an internship on the marketing team, and within a couple months, I was on the team full time. I was, I think, maybe the youngest employee, and I was just eating it up. I
Oh,
was
yeah.
learning. I was asking questions. I was just trying my best, and I loved it. I was writing tweets for
In the coal
Kyrie
mine,
Irving.
you're writing their tweets?
No, seriously, I would write a
Wow.
tweet for Kyrie Irving.
Are you serious?
James Harden. I'm like, I had to learn basketball. You know, I had to learn all
You
the
guys, I
things.
told you, it's like an onion. You just peel it back, and there's more. It's wild.
It was so
So you had to
cool.
do it like in their tone of voice,
Yes.
like I like double dribbling. I mean,
I
I don't know what do you say.
I
don't know.
love double dribbling.
I don't
I'm
know.
so dead.
Alley-oop, dude.
What?
I don't know.
Dude. Okay, but really, I would never guess that you're the face behind James Harden's
I
Twitter.
know.
Okay.
Okay,
That is so
I
cool,
cannot
though.
claim it all. It was
Respect,
just a couple
girl,
tweets
respect.
about headphones, okay? But
Were you there with Clark Miyazaki?
I don't think so.
No, okay.
There were a lot of people too. So I can't recall. This was like, oh, I can't even remember at this point.
It wasn't 2015, was it?
I feel like it was maybe a little earlier.
Oh,
Anyway,
interesting.
I loved it.
That is
And
amazing. I
We
wanna
need to
tweet
get
for them.
we need to get to Ivy, but basically, I'm just telling you, I loved marketing and
Yeah.
I loved working for startups. I loved the culture, and I left there because I was really feeling like, you know what, I just want to do more stuff with women. You know, I'm finding my niche of like who I want to market to and who I want to talk with and all these things. And I love the mountain culture. I love skateboarding, all the things. But my next gig was another startup called Albion Fit. And their swimwear, and I loved the grind. I was one of their first like office employees, and they really trusted me and my vision with marketing too, and I loved the energy there, and it was so fun, and I thought I was gonna be there forever because I'm a loyalist. I love the brand. That's how me and Bree met, actually.
Yes, girl.
No way.
Yeah.
I was one of the first influencers in her influencer program.
Oh,
It is
no way,
true.
that's
It
cool.
is true. But all of this stuff I feel like was just molding me to meet these girls. Like I truly feel it. And there was a day where I like felt this pull I needed to quit my job, but it was so confusing because I was very passionate about it. I love my team. I love the vision, but I just knew there was something around the corner and I couldn't explain it. I was newly married. My husband was doing his MBA at night and working all day. We had like a 500 square foot apartment, and I come to him and I'm like, "Hey, I'm quitting my job." And he's like, you love your job." And I'm like, "I know, but I am supposed to be like using this creator in me, like this entrepreneurial like thing." And he's like, "Well, what is it gonna be? What are you gonna do?" I'm like, "I have no idea." He's like, "Do you have leads?" I'm like, "Nope." He's like, "Okay, if you quit your job, you've got 2 weeks to figure it out." And I'm like, "Okay." Like that's financially what we
Wow.
can
Oh,
cover
yeah.
here. I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I quit my job. I cried about it for probably the first week because I just loved it. And then I'm like, "Okay, I got a week left. We got to figure this out." So I start meeting with amazing people here in Utah. Whitney at Bunko finds out I quit my job. I go to Cheesecake Factory with these girls, and they explain to me what they explained to you, and like I saw it so clearly.
It was
like
a perfect window.
it was a perfect window, and I loved the product, and I knew the demographic, and I just could see the niche. Like I saw they had something different.
Matt said, I quote, I love dresses. I have a whole rack of dresses in my closet. Am I
No,
right?
you're right.
I think
She
so.
did say
That's
that.
the only qualification we're looking for, actually.
I love dresses.
You're in.
I love dresses.
And I really think a lot of this is timing things, because I feel like the way I market and like the type of brand marketing I am an expert at is what we needed at that time. I feel like if I would have done the exact same things today, like for the first time, it would have been a slower burn. But I feel like we jumped on everything at the right time. We leaned into influencer marketing. You know, we really focused on building a community and talking with the customer.
I was gonna say we didn't do, even before Mads came out, we didn't do the traditional marketing that others do, where you're doing paid advertising and stuff like that. We really did like focus on building like our brand and our community first, and then we kind of used
interesting.
that. It was all very organic, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. And as we've grown up together and talked to other entrepreneurs, we've found that we have done things in a very roundabout way. But I think it's been a gift and a blessing for us.
Expand your team's skill set and drive conversions. Volcanic Retail University offers specialized courses to keep your brand ahead in the retail game. Go to university.volcanicretail.io and apply code podcast50 for 50% off.
When did you really start seeing the business take off?
When we introduced the Mommy and Me
Yeah.
thing,
And that was year
2018.
2018.
I feel like it's right when we found our vision and brought on Madeline is when we really took off. We started doing Madeline really helped scale our influencer program. Really was like, I know how to do this. I've seen it work. And it was easy. Like everyone loved it. They just, honestly, we aligned ourselves with people who genuinely liked the product and wanted it and weren't like, oh, I'm only going to do it if you're paying me. But we actually felt like that was better because you don't want to force someone to do something because then they're just going to worry about
It
the
doesn't
money.
feel as authentic either.
It doesn't
right?
feel authentic to their followers, and also like you want to align yourself with people who actually believe in your product as well, and it's like a genuine partnership, and that you're giving something to them that they want to post about, so then they do. And we honestly just gifted it to them and like didn't do any strings attached. Like if you
Yeah.
post, great. If not, you just know who we are.
Were there certain
Let us know.
influencers that hit better than others?
I mean,
Yeah.
totally.
We used Destiny Thompson from the very beginning.
Oh my gosh, she is the cutest. She wore our first
She's
very Ivy dress
adorable.
ever.
She honestly has supported us from like the very,
The very, very
beginning.
beginning.
Yeah.
There's been so many amazing influencers. I mean, I would never say one was like way more valuable than the other. I feel like just everyone's voice is important. It was just getting the word out there more and more. But yeah, there were some that would definitely hit more than others, and we would just try to always have a really close, genuine relationship and
I was
giving
gonna
it to
say,
them
it's
more
been
and more.
amazing because I feel like we've gotten to know influencers outside of just the influencer world.
Yeah.
Like, you know, on a
They become
personal-
friends.
They
Yeah.
become friends, yeah.
And we
Yeah.
look at it as making a friendship, not just a transaction. It
Yeah.
was more like I wanted to keep this relationship instead of like, oh, you gave it to our followers, you posted about it, now we're gonna move on.
Would
You
you-
know?
Oh, go ahead, Bree.
I was just going to say the world of influencer marketing has like blown up since 2018.
Yeah.
Are you still running that program in the same way through gifting collaborations? Are you doing things more paid? Have you kind of scaled back?
We're doing
your
all of the
influencer
above.
program? All the above.
Mads is on the expert on this.
Yeah, I feel like it's changed because, well, first of all, we had no budgets in the beginning, but I feel like we're still very relationship based, you know, but we recognize other women out there hustling, and so we try to, any partnership we do, we want it to feel rewarding for everyone involved. So that may look different for different people and what they value.
That's really cool. I have a question on seasonality. When you're in the fashion and apparel world, obviously you have to do things that other channels don't have to worry about, right? So we talk about this quite a bit. Where in grocery, you're worried about expiration dates and shelf life. In consumer electronics, you're trying to figure out when the new phone's coming out, so you have to make an accessory to it, and what's the shape going to be. But in fashion apparel, you're worried about trends and seasonality. So how hard is it to plan for the next season? How predictable is it on design, styles, and everything else, season to season?
I'm like, who wants to take this one?
I want to hear from both of you, honestly, from the
I feel like
marketing side and analytical.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, exactly. I feel like we could all take it. But I feel it does. We really rely, because we're the consumer, right? We're the consumer
Yeah.
of what we're purchasing. We wear all of our stuff. We
Yeah.
truly stand by our product completely. And so we're always thinking ahead, like, what would we want? What are we looking forward to in the fashion world, right? And I feel like trends usually stick around for like at least 2 years. Usually in the fashion world, I feel like something's usually coming back for a couple years before it completely dies out. So it gives you a little bit of time. If you launch it in one season, it's not completely gone in the next season, right?
Okay.
You can bring it back. You just use analytics, right, to see, okay, how much are we going to bring back of this next year? We launch something new. Okay, this is the new big hitter. We're going to bring that one back. That's how I look at it on the analytical side.
Yeah, but fashion is tricky. We always say, like, looking at it now, like, we picked one of the hardest industries to
Oh,
go
yeah,
into.
you did. Yeah.
It's
tell
like
you that right now.
margins and the other thing is just the emotions behind a purchase and what's driving a consumer like cannot always be quantified. And we didn't used to do hardly any data at all. It was all like just
Gut.
talking to the customer, like, what do you want to see, and gut feeling. Like, I have so many memories just sitting on like the floor of Tasha's room at her house, just like looking at our collection for holiday and saying, what do you think, like 500 of this?
Yeah,
or
seriously. That's how we
530?
used to do it.
And we're
Well,
like,
she has the gut feeling. I'm like, your gut has been right up to
It
this
has
point.
worked so far, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's great.
it gets you to a point.
But now, like, fast forward, we have more resources and we have learned a lot and we lean a lot more into the analytics. We have quarterly buy meetings and quarterly like hindsights is what we call them. So now we do like big reviews after a launch.
Yeah.
And, like
What worked, what didn't work.
worked, what didn't, and why. Like analyze it by its sleeve and its color and its fabrication.
Because we're not just purchasing like 100 of a dress now.
Yeah.
When you get bigger, you're in scaling.
You have
need
to dissect everything.
You have to, because if you purchase 1,000 of a product and it doesn't do well, then you're stuck with 1,000 of something. So you do have to get a lot more analytical. You can't just go on gut feeling. Whereas
What do
you
you
can.
What do you do on the liquidation market side? So if you buy a dress and you have 1,000 of them and it's one that's not a hitter, what do you do?
We kind of take steps. So we'll mark things down first on the website and
Yeah.
do like sell.
Well, I feel like
Put it
before
onto the
that,
sale.
we try to get as much out of it as we can full price. So a lot of
That
times the
is true.
conversation will be, have we done everything we can on the marketing front?
Okay.
Are the photos
Absolutely. Yep.
Because honestly, we really do stand by it. I'm like, this is an amazing dress. Why is it not selling?
Yeah.
So we'll try and push it.
That's where the emotional side of it comes into.
And so gift it to more people, and sometimes it hits more better. But then also sometimes we get things that have bad quality, and if that happens, then we just say slightly imperfect, and that usually just flies like crazy.
We also do
So-
warehouse sales and we do sample sales and things
but
like that. In
it's
our
honestly
showroom
just
and-
getting really good at not
The
ordering
analytics.
too much and making sure that we have like a timeline of, it's getting low, we're going to reorder more.
Yeah, forecasting.
right,
it all.
because inventory is what would bury a company like ours.
Yeah,
So-
for sure. So what states do you rely on to give you inspiration? What states are the majority of your customers in outside of Utah?
Actually, Utah is not even our biggest state
Oh,
anymore.
really?
Yeah, I know. People are surprised to hear that now.
That is interesting.
But I was gonna say.
Well, I just pulled this data like 2 days ago, so I can tell you if you want.
Let's do.
Okay, so I think I can tell you in order. Year to date, this year.
Can I guess first?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I would love
Tennessee.
this game.
This is fun.
Tennessee,
It's in the top 15.
Georgia,
It's in the top 15.
Arizona.
Yes. You haven't gotten the top 5, though. You're still not in the top 5.
Well, California.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
number 2.
I'm thinking per capita.
Yeah, that's smart.
Let me think here. I'm going to go South Carolina.
South Carolina's not as high as you think, but we
Well,
feel,
it should be.
That's how we feel.
should
It's a
be.
good.
We
It's a
feel
good
like-
state.
We feel like the South is like
I
opportunity
love South
for us.
Carolina.
We do too. Yeah.
Okay, what are
Texas
they?
is number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, Texas is number 1, and then it's California, and then it's Utah, Washington, New York, Virginia has grown a lot for us in the last year. Interesting,
Wow.
yeah.
But also we're all over the world. Like we get
Yeah.
orders in
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you
Australia,
do. Yeah.
Europe, which is really cool.
Do you have like different?
Canada.
So do you ship the products individually to those countries, or do you have different fulfillment houses in
We
those countries?
handle all of our own fulfillment.
Wow. No
Everything's
way.
all
No
in-house.
3PL. Yep.
How many followers does IVCD Go have?
On Instagram, we're getting close to 900,000.
Wow.
I know. It's so weird. It feels surreal. It truly
Yeah.
does.
That's awesome. And then you do, outside of Instagram, what other platforms do you rely on?
TikTok, Facebook.
Are those ones
YouTube,
more
Pinterest.
unreliable than Instagram?
Depends on if you're talking organic or paid. Meta, like Facebook, still drives a lot for us.
It does.
Yeah.
I hear that that's a lot. You can really narrow down your exact customer really well, better on Meta than other places, but it's also kind of pricey. Is that
It just
true?
depends. We're very, there's a lot to this, but we're very protective of our bottom line.
Yeah.
I don't know if our finance guru wants us to be known publicly or not, but we have always been a profitable company from the beginning,
Good for
and
you.
that really is the way they set like the building blocks for the business, I'd say.
We didn't know there was another way, to be honest.
Well,
That's why Ernst and Loves likes you guys. Yeah, there's no such thing as debt. Okay.
yeah. I mean, we just honestly, we didn't pay ourselves for a long time either because we never wanted the business to fail, right? Like we always wanted to put everything back into the business, and I still feel like we're like that. We still just want everything we can. We put our heart and soul into this business. This is our baby,
Yeah.
you know? And we're not, at the end of the day, we're not looking for the biggest paycheck, and we're not looking for, you know, like we're not doing that every day. We're doing this because we're continuing to like
it's
grow
more
this
important
business.
to
And
grow our company.
yeah,
than
we want to grow the
taking from
company
it.
right now.
Does it ever make sense in the future to go back to brick and mortar, or is it not in the plans?
We've never done brick and mortar.
We've never done brick and
You've
mortar.
never done brick and mortar.
We have a showroom that's like just in front of our warehouse right now. It's
Wow.
just a tiny little showroom that we've built
so
it
you
out.
never
and it's
thought about doing
beautiful
like
and-
Costco or something?
No.
No, not,
We haven't
wholesale.
really thought about it, but we're open to it. But we do really have a dream of doing brick and mortar. It's just
Okay, well I'm gonna have to convince you after
Prioritizing?
this episode's over.
yeah.
yeah.
we have dreams. We've always, like, from the very beginning, we've always dreamed of Ivy
Yeah.
being in this beautiful place with like a little cafe and dresses. Because honestly, we have customers fly across the country to come to our little showroom and like
That
come
is
to our
awesome.
events because they just love our brand and they get to come hang
They've
out
gotten
with
to know us too.
and-
They feel like, you know, we're friends.
They're part of the family. We
Yeah.
call it
That
the
is
Ivy
so cool.
family. It's not just like a brand, you know, we're a brand, but it's like a family, a community.
Y'all seem like you have like, don't they seem like they have like good energy? They're not like, it seems like you don't
Oh, they
have any,
do.
there's no toxicity around you. It doesn't seem like you have a lot of enemies. Is that true?
I really don't. I think that's fair.
Yeah,
I
like,
feel
we
like we're
hope
always
not.
just try to be nice to everybody and inclusive. I think that's part
It's
of our
like-
brand is being
Just
inclusive.
like all the women in my office, they're all just like a little too happy about this Ivy City Coke Company. I'm like,
Well,
like, calm
Jeremy,
down,
you should have
people.
invited them
What's
all.
the deal?
Come
Yeah,
on.
seriously.
Well, you know
I
what?
think
I
it's
also
because we're inclusive as far as just like everyone is welcome, everyone's a friend, and honestly, like you said, like we don't want a toxic energy. We want a very like uplifting energy.
we're building a
and
brand that's like
empowering
empowering
energy.
women and right, that's what we're doing. We're building
Yeah.
a brand that's empowering women through their clothing and what we're doing. So why can we not share that with everyone else? Like
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
woman should be empowered to start a business or do what they want. And so we hope we're aspirational, not, you know, there's no toxicity
Well,
in
and I
that way.
think, like, you mentioned inclusive. Like, you've mentioned you want women to feel empowered. And I watched some social media clips of your fashion show that you did.
Yeah.
And just the diversity that you had on the stage
Yeah.
and the glow that was coming off of every model's face and the people in the audience. My best friend is Carly Crowther.
Oh my
And I know
gosh.
she models for you guys all the time.
Yes, she
Like,
sings for us too.
Yes, yeah. No, she's like, she is sunshine and a human.
All your
She
singer
is.
friends. Huh?
I know, yeah. But like you truly do. Like, and it really is so apparent and so clear in all of your branding and in your messaging and just how you show up in the world publicly that you are inclusive and you are an empowering brand.
Oh, well, thank you. That means so much.
That means so much, honestly, from working with our models to anyone at the fashion show, people that come to the fashion show. Like, that's what we're trying to put out there is goodness. And just letting everyone feel seen and welcome is really important to
And
us.
I think our goal is just to continue to grow and scale so that we can do that for more women, right? Because there's only so many women that even know of our brand. And know
I
of
feel
us
like
yet.
in the
So-
fashion industry, it's not very inclusive, really.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to change
Trying
the
to change the
narrative.
yep.
And also just, oh my gosh, I just blanked out.
It happens.
Just
I'll-
kind of
I'll
following
remember.
Where are
the,
you going with
I'll
that?
remember. I'll remember.
Yeah, so it's just, it felt like it all started from Dove, you know, probably 10 years ago, where they're like, you know what?
Oh, yeah.
Women
know.
are all different shapes and sizes, and it's all right. You know,
Everyone
kind of
deserves
thing.
to feel confident
Right.
in what they're wearing. I remember what I was gonna say. Honestly, like we haven't really touched on the most rewarding part of our job and like what keeps us going. Like obviously, it's not always easy, and it's not everything what it looks like on the outside. Like there's really hard days. There's days of like, why am I doing this? Like, what am I doing with my life? And we'll get emails, text messages of so many women being like, I just had a baby and nothing fits me and I don't feel confident and I just got your dress and I'm in tears and I've never felt more beautiful. Or, I mean, we've had really heartbreaking ones of someone passing away and they say, I'm going to bury my daughter in Ivy City because she loved
wow.
it. And like, it's really impactful.
Yeah.
I mean, both of my grandmas are buried in Ivy City, which is really
Oh,
special.
that's beautiful. Oh.
Because they were just so proud. And, you know, the dresses have power. They really, when you feel good, you do good, and you feel like you can do anything, right?
Wow.
So honestly, that's the most rewarding part, is just even us, like, where you just feel there's a power when you put on something and you feel great in it.
Mads, you need to talk about our amazing team too. Like, have the mic.
Okay, so team is everything to us. So we've only really heard the starting stories. We were
Yeah.
in basements, apartments, just moving all around. You know, obviously, like, to scale the business in the way we have, we've had to bring other people on board. And that has become just as important to us as the community we've built by selling dresses to people. The people we've brought into our work family and we've been able to employ, they matter so much to us, and it's so important to us that they feel seen, they feel loved, they feel opportunity for growth here. And so that's it goes both ways, you know. So Ivy City is internal, external. We just want to see everybody win.
That's really cool.
So what does the team look like now? Because it was just you two, and then it was you three, and where are we at now?
So there's about 65 employees right now. And that spans from, like we said, we do all of our own fulfillment. We have like a little retail experience
Yeah.
at the front of our warehouse. And then we've got customer service and marketing and creative and finance and website, you know, all the magic that brings it together.
So if we have a lot of retail stores that listen in. Some of them would probably be interested in picking up your line. If they were interested in doing that, where do they find more information?
Well, currently we don't offer wholesale, but we want to in the future.
So if it's ivycityco.com?
Yeah, honestly, email hello@ivycityco.com, and
Yeah.
our amazing CX team will put you in touch with the right people. We've
Yeah.
been collecting people that are interested.
We started one wholesale venture.
Yes, we have one local that we're like, let's just try it out.
Yeah, to see if, see if
Uh-huh.
they like
I
it,
don't know
yeah.
if you're familiar with the Fox Group. They're in Holiday. They have a market they just opened,
Oh, cool.
and they asked us about it, and we always say no because we're trying to scale D2C first, but we love their vision and everything,
Yeah.
and we just
brand values align.
yeah, we went
Really,
for it,
really
and
cool.
it's been going so well. So now omni-channel is the future for us.
Well,
so
that is awesome.
reach out.
Follow your gut on it.
Well, honestly, we really appreciate you guys coming in. I'm just going to ask with one lighthearted question before we end. What are you guys watching on Netflix right now? Or favorite show?
Well, I just
What are you
finished Bridgerton, but I
So
don't
that's like
watch,
a really popular
I
show
don't
right
watch
now.
TV as much as, well, actually,
I don't
no,
think it hits with the male
okay.
audience too well, though.
I lied. It wasn't
Bridgerton?
Bridgerton. It was no. What's the book that I read that I was telling you had to watch the show? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking now. We were the lucky ones. We were.
I've heard that's
I
so
loved
good.
The show is so good. It's just as good as the book, which I feel like is rare when
Very
you watch
rare.
a show.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I had to choose between getting in bed and watching something on Netflix or reading my book, I read my book right now.
Oh,
so I'm
interesting.
not watching a ton on
You're one of
Netflix.
those
But that was
reader
the
people.
one I
Oh,
just finished.
interesting.
I
But
bet
yeah, we're all
Bridgerton
big
had some
readers.
dress
They're
inspo, though.
listeners.
Oh,
but
they're listener people. Okay. You watching anything right now?
I just watched the same thing,
Yeah.
but we're audiobook girlies.
Okay, what are you listening to?
We're really big into fantasy.
Okay, what
Harry Potter, Harry Potter,
Yeah.
Hunger Games, A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Okay,
This whole scene.
there you go. Called them all out. Good deal.
Bridgerton, Thorns and
I
Roses.
did.
We got
I
it. We
did
got
just
it.
watch Bridgerton, but right now my guilty pleasure is I've been watching The Real Housewives for years.
You know what? I respect the reality TV thing.
My
I've been
husband hates it. He's like, he
Really?
gets so mad at me
Just
every
wait
time I
until you
watch
see him
it.
peeking around the corner.
No, he
They love
does
it secretly.
He does
They love it secretly.
I'm always like, can I watch my show or can I not? He's like, no. So we watched some like Afghanistan show.
Yeah, that's right. Those are the best.
You guys watch a lot of documentaries. You guys are big like documentary.
There's this new one of like
couples.
something that we were watching, which I enjoyed too. But I've been watching like The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and New Jersey.
Okay, we'll do a watch party or something.
they're
I've been
good.
What
watching
do you watch?
Selling OC.
Yes,
Oh.
I like that too.
Yes, right? Selling
I'm a
Sunset.
reality
Oh,
junkie.
I'm a
I was gonna say
reality
I don't know what
junkie.
Selling OC is because I watched the old Selling
like a-
Sunset.
Is that a
real
but
station?
It's just
Yes.
a new
And you're like
branch off of
inside the
Selling
broker's
Sunset.
office with them, and they sell $1 million homes.
I know,
and
it's
it just
wild.
is-
It's
they're beautiful
fascinating.
homes. So that part's entertaining in itself, and then of course the drama's there.
Yes.
So you know.
I will say
It's a
we had a
win-win.
photo shoot in California just a few months ago, and Tosh and I shared a room. And she was in the room before me, and I came in like getting ready for bed, and I
scared.
laid down, and she was just watching, just like the scariest like true crime documentary.
jeez.
Like they're reenacting.
Now, that is not Ivy City
They're
Co.
reenacting things, and she's just like sitting there like eating a snack, and I'm like just watching it so
Are
casually.
I
you,
do like
desensitized?
scary stuff too, which is bad.
What's going on over there?
Then I have nightmares and I can't sleep.
Oh yeah.
What are you watching, Jer?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. We had Brandon Fugel on, so I watched that one show, the Skinwalker.
I watched that
I had the
too.
worst nightmare that night. I'm not even kidding you.
Yes.
It was like the worst nightmare I've had in like 10 years. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't watch this.
I
show
had to turn it
anymore.
off because it was giving me nightmares too. I'm like, oh my
I'm
God.
going to talk to Brandon
too
about
many Skinwalker like story situations.
Actually, my
that we
TikTok
just
has
stay
been
away from
showing
that.
me skinwalkers.
Oh,
now.
jeez.
Terrifying.
I'm like, wait, I didn't know this was like real.
Okay.
I avoid all things scary at all costs.
Me too. Me too.
So really, on a good note, there's this show that I've been watching that I really like. It's called Trying, and it is on
Trying?
Apple Plus.
Trying.
Okay.
And it's like the adult version of Bluey. It is like the
Oh.
cutest show I've ever
Okay, I
seen.
need to watch this.
It's from
Bluey?
it's like from England, but they're the coolest little family.
Bluey is one of like that's the show that my kids will beg me to watch.
You
and
can
I'm
watch
always,
Trying with them.
I'm always a
You can watch it
sucker.
with
I
them.
let them watch it
I
because
know, 'cause I
it's
wanna
not
watch
like
it.
I want to
It's a
watch
great
it.
show.
My husband
I love it.
love
I even buy all the figurines for them, and I just keep buying
me
them over and
too.
over again.
Okay,
Trying.
Trying. It's called Trying.
Trying.
On Apple
It is a
TV.
really good show.
Okay, that's
Anyway,
good to know.
you'll like
I'm
it.
excited about that.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for coming on,
Yay.
and super excited for everything in the future for Ivy City Co. and what you've done. And Bree Ray, thank you, and good luck with
Of course.
everything you're doing on the music world.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you guys. This was so fun.
Maximize your sales team's potential with Volcanic Retail University. Our courses cover everything from foundational retail knowledge to advanced strategies for established brands. Go to university.volcanicretail.io and use code RWG for 30% off.